In February of 2020, CBS News reported of a story of a 4-year-old boy who passed away from the flu after his mom opted to use essential oils, uh, elderberries, and thyme to treat his symptoms as advised by an anti vax Facebook group. Later that same year, COVID spread throughout the world, and Business Insider reported of a story of a woman and how she suffered multiple complications and a prolonged hospitalization after she chose to delay uh, the conventional route of care for her burst appendicitis. It was found that this woman was a full-time distributor of Young Living essential oils and opted to rely on these oils as a form of treatment for her appendicitis symptoms. But these stories aren't the first of its kind involving Young Living, as it has a long history of making unfounded medical claims that promote essential oils as God's medicine, curing everything from Ebola, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, PTSD, tooth infections, and even cancer. In fact, FDA warned uh, Young Living in a letter to address the slew of medical claims made by its distributors on social media back in 2014. These examples are just a drop in the bucket of the various problems wrong with Young Living and multi level marketing in general. How is it that a company can go on in such a deceptive way? Well, it all has to do with the legacy that many MLM companies claim they are building, yet this legacy is rarely anything positive for us to talk about. As you may have gathered by the title of this video and my introduction, I will be discussing the infamous essential oil company Young Living. I will shed light on how the company got started, the shady history of its founder, and discuss the participation in this company from a biblical standpoint while touching on a bit of science and ethics as well. I will be adding timestamps for when I will be discussing each of these perspectives in the description box. Now, I personally have several friends who are involved in Young Living. If that is you watching this video, I want you to know that I still absolutely love you, and that is why you're a part of my life. I support you in general, but me disagreeing with Young Living is not a personal attack on you. As I present the information pertaining to Young Living, I want to invite everyone who is listening to remember this scripture from Philippians 4:8. And it says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." And I want these characteristics uh, to be used as a list of qualifications for any Christian considering participation in this company on any level. All of my resources and the income disclosure statement for Young Living will be in the description box below. Have you ever seen a wolf in sheep's clothing? Well, I am about to show you such a person. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Gary Young, the founder of Young Living. Young has rather humble beginnings. He was born in 1949 in Idaho, where his Mormon family lived in a cabin with no running water or electricity. This guy's education is questionable, to say the least. He started and dropped out of several programs, including a nutrition school run by an unlicensed chiropractor. He did a quarter of a semester in Spokane Community College, and he also claimed to have earned a doctorate in naturopathy from an unaccredited diploma mill called Bernardine University. With his faux doctorate in hand, Young opened a clinic where he offered bizarre treatments that were described by medically licensed doctors as, quote, far closer to mysticism than medicine and complete hogwash, end quote. In 1982, Gary delivered his own baby daughter in a rural pool bath, forcing it to stay submerged underwater for almost an hour. The baby died as a result, sparking an undercover investigation of his medical practices. In In 1983, he was charged with practicing medicine in the state of Washington without a license, where he offered medical treatment for everything ranging from cancer to pregnancy, all without formal medical training or a license. In 1994, he and his wife Mary, who is now the CEO of Young Living, opened an unlicensed medical clinic in Ecuador where he was able to offer alternative medical treatments for ailments of all kinds, including MS, cancer, and dementia, all of which were not based on science or clinical evidence. During all this time, the founder of the company wasn't just controversial due to his unfounded medical claims and unlicensed medical clinics that he attempted to run several times. He also had a documented history of violent criminal activity, including attacks on women that were both physically and deeply violating. Think 2 Samuel chapter 13, 1 through 22. This violent criminal history followed him all the way from the 1970s. And these aren't just allegations. He served time for these crimes and was listed as a violent predator. His full given name was Donald Gary Young. I couldn't find the reason for why and when he began going by D. Gary Young, and this is just my personal assumption that he may have switched to using just his middle name and abbreviating his first name to deviate his identity from his previous criminal past. But that's just speculation. Obviously, his criminal past and the growing number of regulations made it increasingly difficult for Young to spread the message of his dubious health claims, which is when the idea of multi-level marketing presented itself. Business Insider states his breakthrough may have been the realization that multi-level marketing, which relied on personal word-of-mouth marketing from any army of devoted but independent salespeople to make the health claims, could be his golden ticket to become the alternative health guru he always yearned to become, without having to constantly butt heads with the law. In theory, if people who were not Young Living employees sold Young's products and pushed out a healing message, he would not be accused of further violations of the laws regulating the practice of medicine. I don't know about you guys, but if I read this as an active distributor of Young Living, I would likely have a very nasty taste in my mouth and I would run for the hills. But in the 1980s, he opened Young Living International Inc. as an MLM that originally sold colon aid and liver tone, which were essential oil concoctions marketed to aid in colon and liver detox. He referred to himself as Dr. Young in marketing brochures, though he had already been in trouble with the law for presenting himself as a medical doctor. People fell for it hard, especially the Christian community, because of the faith-based language throughout all the marketing materials and speeches, though it didn't seem like Young was at all interested in the things of God. His wife was instrumental in packaging the brand with faith language, revival style rallies, and a clean image, masking the deeply compromised roots. Business Insider reports and Young's messaging around his essential oils are a quote, "We are here to heal the world. This is what God used to heal mankind for thousands of years. This is what the prophets used in the Bible, and we are here to bring back the wisdom of God's medicine on earth." End quote. Despite the lack of medical and scientific evidence, this type of messaging and demonization of the medical field appealed to a wide audience of Christians and those who were a part of the larger, ever growing anti vax movement, who soaked up all the healing claims and, as Young anticipated, helped spread them with an unmatched loyalty. But is there any truth to this marketing that essential oils are God's medicine? Let's take a look at the Bible and specifically in the let's take a look at the Bible and specifically in the areas where the use of oil is described. Now, first, it is important for us to understand that the Bible is written by people who lived in Israel, which is in the Middle Eastern region bordering the Mediterranean Sea. When oil is mentioned in the Bible, it is usually referring to olive oil, as olive trees were native to the region and they were abundant and easily processed in ancient Israel. Modern essential oils, like the ones sold by Young Living, are highly concentrated plant extracts and are produced through steam distillation or cold pressing. This is a type of technology that did not exist in ancient Israel or ancient times in general. Now, there were fragranced oils, as we see in Exodus chapter 30, verses 22 to 33, where God directed Moses to blend spices, frankincense, myrrh with cinnamon, cane, and cassia. This blend was sacred and was used to anoint the tent of meeting, the tabernacle, and all the utensils used for making sacrifices. This oil blend was only meant for consecration, and Israel was forbidden by God to make this blend for any other purpose. Oils were also used for anointing kings, as was the case for King David when Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers, as we see in 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 13. Oils were also used in prayer, as stated in James 5:14, which alludes to spiritual healing and prayer. It was not used as a remedy. Also in Luke 10:34, there is a parable of the Good Samaritan who helped the wounded man on the road. And it says, he went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. I am assuming that this was a form of ancient first aid. The wine cleansed the wounds, and the oil acted as a barrier to keep away germs. This was likely a simple olive oil because, as we've established, essential oils did not exist back then, and that highly concentrated plant extract would likely make the wound worse, anyways. In the Bible, oils were also used as literary symbolism. For example, Psalm 23, verse 5, it says, "You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." And this symbolizes honor, welcome, and blessings. Now, I already hear a very common rebuttal that Christians use to justify essential oils. But wasn't Jesus gifted essential oils when he was born? In Matthew chapter 2, verse 11, it says, "On coming to the house, they saw the child and his mother Mary, and they fell down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. Thayer's Greek lexicon defines frankincense as a fragrant resin derived from the boswellia tree, and it hardens into translucent tears that emit a sweet, penetrating aroma when burned. In the case of myrrh, Thayer's Greek lexicon also defines it as a bitter gum that is also usually a costly perfume that comes from a certain tree or shrub in Arabia and Ethiopia. It is obtained by incisions made in the bark and is often used as an antiseptic or in embalming. These definitions reveal to us that frankincense and myrrh were not oils at all. They were resin, which is typically a thicker consistency that feels like our neosporin or probably harder. When exposed to the air, these substances harden. This stuff had a very pleasant aroma and it was highly expensive, comparable to modern day Chanel in the ancient Middle East. It was considered a luxury and not for everyday purposes. They were so expensive that they were used for worship, as it was in the case of the Magi who brought these oils to Jesus, and they were also used for burial purposes for embalming. This is actually something very new that I learned as I was preparing for this video, because I too assumed that these gifts brought by the Magi were oils, but extra studying disproved this long-held assumption. The modern day essential oils simply have an infusion of these saps, which is not the same as the ointment-like gifts that Jesus received from the Magi. Therefore, there is no biblical basis for essential oils, which goes to show how predatory, exploitative, and deceptive their oils of ancient scripture bundle is. This bundle is marketed at $303 retail value. Even more alarming about Young Living is the company's leaning towards New Age thought. This is plainly evidenced by the various talks they have at their conventions and reels from top leaders, but is also plainly seen in the messaging on their products. For example, let's take a look at their Divine Destiny collection. I'm not going to spend time reading the product description. I'm just going to point out the problematic language. So we have self-development or self-development of discovery and enlightenment. This is a classic New Age phraseology. Enlightenment here refers not to biblical truth, but self-actualization and inner awakening. They are key New Age concepts. Empower your inner self is also problematic, as well as discovering the truth of who you are, which emphasizes the self as the source of truth, which is a hallmark of New Age belief. It contracts directly with biblical theology, which teaches that truth is found in God and revealed in His Word, as we see in John chapter 17, verse 17. Harmonic chord, harmonious energy, bringing light and balance is also here. This kind of language is common in energy healing, chakra alignment, and vibrational therapy teachings. It's associated with metaphysical mysticism rather than any Judeo-Christian framework. And of course, we have heightened spiritual awareness as a promise of these products. And this is another ambiguous phrase often used in meditation, crystal healing, and similar spiritual practices that do not require or reference God. And it's usually about tuning into the universe or one's consciousness. And the product names like I am blessed and I am creative are also problematic. while I am blessed sounds biblical, it's being used here in a self-declarative way, and similar to affirmations, which is a core New Age tool. The I am phrasing mimics divine identity statements that God said through Moses in Exodus chapter 3, verse 14. Um, and in this case, with this product, New Age is often appropriated to deify the self rather than worship the Lord. Um, all of this language on this product is problematic because it promotes the self. It infuses self spirituality and misappropriates Christian language without Christ. And frankly, it is an open door to the occult world. If you are a vigilant Christian who is also a parent, I urge you to be careful about the stuff you put in your home. Even infusing such things with this type of new language tacked onto the product is an invitation for these spirits attached to these products to enter your home. And that is dangerous. Now, I can anticipate people saying that, well, just because the Bible doesn't support essential oils doesn't mean it isn't a healthier alternative to big pharma. And of course, I'll get some claims to contend with, so I proposed that we look at these claims together. So, uh, essential oils can cure or prevent cancer. There is no clinical evidence that essential oils can cure, treat, or prevent cancer. The American Cancer Society warns against alternative therapies that delay legitimate care. In fact, Young Living received an FDA warning in 2014 for distributors making such claims. It is wrong biblically, ethically, and morally, medically, and in every way possible to tell somebody who is battling something as scary as cancer that some essential oil is going to help them. Shame on these people who think that this is okay to do, and they go out of their way to prey on somebody's vulnerability to profit for themselves. There's also the claim that essential oils can boost immunity and prevent viruses like COVID-19, the flu, or Ebola. The FDC, or the FDA and CDC, has never approved essential oils as an antiviral agent. Some oils may have mild antimicrobial properties in lab settings, but that does not equate to virus prevention or treatment in the human body. And we've already seen the tragic example of that 4-year-old boy who died after his mom tested this claim and ended up with life-shattering results. Please be careful, people. Frankincense oil can treat tumors or cancer. Frankincense resin has shown some anti-inflammatory properties in test tubes, but frankincense essential oil is not the same as a pharmaceutical drug. No clinical trial confirms that it treats cancer. Lab-based promises do not equate to medically validated treatment. Another claim is lavender and peppermint oils cure anxiety and depression. These oils may provide a calming aroma, but they are not substitutes for mental health care, therapy, or medication when needed. Smelling something pleasant is not the same as receiving treatment for a clinical disorder. Another claim is oils can replace antibiotics. This is plain dangerous. Antibiotic-resistant infections require urgent, evidence-based treatment. No oil can replace antibiotics, and relying on oils instead of appropriate care can lead to severe complications and even death. Essential oils detox your body is another claim. And we have a built in detox system called the kidneys and the liver. Flushing out flushing out toxins is medical misinformation in its finest form, and it is a ploy to get money out of you. If you believe in God, you have to believe that he is wise and powerful and capable enough to give you a body that is able to do this without a vaguely marketed oil. Another claim is that God gave us these oils to use as natural medicine. Well, God also gave us wisdom. He gave us science and medicine. While some plants have healing properties, modern oils are industrial products, not sacred substances. Their use must be wise and not idolized. Trusting oils more than prayer, doctors, or truth is spiritual idolatry disguised as health. So I mentioned legacy in the beginning of the video, and what is Young's legacy? The bizarre and often dangerous health claims that he made from the very beginning of his attempts to become an alternative medicine practitioner have followed him into Young Living, and they spread to the representatives who joined this company. And to this very day, this company is virtually responsible for spreading a lot of medical misinformation and dubious health claims that are not proven by medicine or science in any way. Many representatives claim that the high therapeutic grade quality and ethically sourced oils of Young Living have all these magical healing properties. But in 2017, Young Living pleaded guilty to violating the Lacey Act and the Endangered Species Act by trafficking illegally sourced rosewood and spikenard oils. I think I said that right. And they were harvested abroad in other countries. And as far as this therapeutic grade label, the company also had to fork out $5 million in a class action lawsuit in 2024 that alleged deceptive marketing with this label that brought about unsubstantiated health benefits. Beyond what's legal or biblical, we also need to consider what's ethical. Is it ethical to profit from people's pain, to sell hope in a bottle while dismissing science, or to spiritualize sales tactics that pressure the vulnerable? Let's also not forget the financial side of things. Young Living, like most multi-level marketing companies, promise financial freedoms through product sales and recruitment. But according to the 2023 income disclosure statement, 89% of all Young Living members earn an average of $4 annually in commissions for the year. $4, guys. And what's even crazier is that in order to collect your commissions for the month, you have to spend or sell at least $100 worth of product in order to collect those $4. When this company makes claims of abundance, of being a path to freedom, the solution to all ailments, of being blessed to be a blessing. Is that true? Is that just? Is it commendable? And is it even honest? Personally, I struggle to justify any kind of participation in this company from a biblical, ethical, moral, financial, and even scientific perspective. And I know that somebody will come along and say, well, you shop at Costco and Trader Joe's, and plenty of people work at companies without digging into the framework, history, and ethics of the company. Working with Young Living isn't any different. The MLM world is completely incomparable to the traditional corporate culture. Nobody in Trader Joe's is going to tell you that their store's brand of cheese was put in their path by God. And imagine sitting down for a job interview with your local hospital or retailer and answering the infamous question of why do you want to work here with something like, God put this business in my life, or it's God's answer to my problems. Just think, how seriously do you think people will take you at this company? But this type of behavior is totally acceptable and welcome all throughout Young Living and multi level marketing in general. It is also important to note that when you put God into all your marketing in your company's messaging, your company and all your actions going forward are set to a higher standard. As I did in my first video, and in the beginning of this one, I want to encourage you to assess this company and many of its practices through the lens of Philippians 4:8. When you look at the compensation plan, the recruitment tactics, the promises of a better physical and financial health, can you attest that what you see is true? Based on what you know, how this company started, the health claims that many people have been misled and continue to suffer from, and the financial disparity that many people have faced as a result. Can you say that this is honorable? Can you say that it is just? Is it pure? Are the founders of this company morally excellent and praiseworthy? Are the practices within recruitment and promotion of the many products morally excellent, praiseworthy, true, just, or pure? The answers to these questions can either be a yes or a no. Dear Young Living participant, if you answer these questions honestly for yourself, you will have your answer and you will know what to do next based on how you answer those questions. And that is all I have for you, my friends. Go diffuse your essential oils, but just make sure they're not from Young Living or doTERRA.